This is question number 3 from May-June 2019, QP21. The diagram shows a seed immediately after it is planted. So you can see here the radical. Anyway, now you are to write two factors that must be present for a seed to germinate. So actually, this is related to the germination of seed. So we should know that for germination of any seed, we need water and oxygen and also temperature. But here they have asked only two factors. That's why we can write any of these two factors. So water, oxygen, and temperature. You can write this one and this one. You can write this one and this one, or any two. So why water is needed? Although this is not required in the question, but I am explaining you for revision of the topic. So water is needed to activate the enzymes because in solution, all the metabolic reactions occurs in water. Water medium is required. And secondly, proteins, some of the proteins or all of the proteins are in active form when there is plenty of water. So in hydrated form, they are active. Enzymes, active sites are um, available. But in case of uh, dormant form, when the seed has no water or very little amount of water, then their active sites are not available. So the shape of the active site changes due to the presence of water. Oxygen is required for energy because respiration is required for the growth of the plumule and the radicle. Temperature, we know optimum temperature is required for all the proteins and for the metabolic reactions. Now, here a chart is given. The bar chart shows the total mass, the mass of the starch, and the mass of the sugar in the seed immediately after it is planted. Stage 1 and stage 1 and at 3 further stages in the development of seedling are given here in this graph. So you can see that initially the mass of the seed was this. This is the total mass, and this is the mass of the starch. You can see the key here. This is the mass of the starch. This is for sugar. So initially very little sugar is present at stage 1. But in stage 2, you can see that starch decreases while the amount of sugar increases little bit. You can see here, it was here at the half box at this height. And now it is up to here. But the starch level of starch decreases, but the total mass is much increased. Then stage 3, total mass is also increased, but level of starch is decreasing and level of sugar is rising. And in stage 4, you can see the total mass is much greater than the initial stage or the previous stages, but the amount of starch again rises and sugar decreases. Now, see, what are the questions? Is there two substances other than starch and sugar that contribute to the total mass of the seed at stage 1? So what could be those substances? Those substances could be water. It could be protein or amino acids. It could be fat, although only two are required, but we can write any of these two. And these could be minerals. Minerals, for example, nitrate, magnesium, etc. And another thing that is being increased when plant is growing, a seedling develops and it grows in the larger size. So as more cells will be produced, so more cellulose would be there. So you can write any of these answer, but also you can write the enzyme. Enzymes, level of enzyme would also increase. Okay, so you can write any two of these options. State the stage at which the seedling starts to photosynthesize and give your reason. Now, initially, any seed has starch that is utilized to convert into sugar by converting into sugar to get energy. But whenever photosynthesis starts, then again the starch production, uh, starch is starch is produced or starch is reproduced. So if you see in stage 1 and stage 2, starch is decreasing, and up to stage 3, starch is further decreasing. But the level of starch increases. It definitely, because of the photosynthesis, there's no other way to increase the starch in plants except the photosynthesis. So definitely photosynthesis starts at stage 4. So this is stage 4 where the photosynthesis starts. The seedling starts to photosynthesize. And what should be the reason? Because as I told you that starch increases at stage 4. So this is the reason. Now see, explain the difference in amount of starch and sugar between stage 2 and stage 3. Now see the diagram, see the graph again. This is stage 2 and stage 3. If you see here, then continuously from stage 1 to stage 3, although we are asked to write our answer between stage 2 and stage 3, that starch is being reduced while sugar is being increased. So what is the reason? So explain the difference in the amount of starch and sugar between stage 2 and stage 3. So starch decreases while sugar increases from stage 2 to stage 3. As amylase in the seed convert or catalyze converts or catalyzes breakdown of starch into sugar. Why? So that sugar oxidizes to produce energy by respiration for the growth. So this is the complete answer, but if any one of the point is re- uh, is not written, it would be accepted. So that was the question number 3.